Is there a correlation between our our ability to be consistent and what we perceive to be our current reality?
I always ask, what's the root of your perception of your reality? Because to uncover what the root of that is, then we'll see why you chase the things that you chase or why you do the things you do the way you do them.
What are the signs to know that maybe you need to seek, let's say, a Fuller Health, for instance, to be able to help you fully see yourself with transparency and clarity?
Oh, you just touched on like session 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right there.
Yeah. There is the misconception that desire will always be equal to output. That if you want it, of course you're going to do it.
Are you the right one to do it for, though?
That's a good question.
If the level of my desire is bigger than the level of my activity, I'll never get the things that I want.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. And happy new year. Happy 2025. We're so excited to come back. And today's episode is going to be the right kickstart you need to start the year, because today I actually just need like the right title. He's called an optimal relationship coach and a C-suite hypnotherapist. He's one of the guests that you guys highly requested that we had right at the beginning of the episode. And today we're going to take a deep dive into the mind, setting your new year goals, starting that business, and just shedding off every single thing that has been holding you back in 2024 so that you can soar and leap this year. I'm so excited to chat to Hakeem Anderson. How are you, Hakeem?
I am very good.
Yeah, you're also the CEO and the founder of Fola University.
Fola Wellness and Healing.
Oh,
Now a
Fola.
polyclinic.
Come on.
Okay,
Come
let's
on.
go.
Come on.
Let's go.
One thing about you put plugs in there.
Listen, me.
And
Listen, what is
I'm
this
here for it.
podcast for?
Exactly.
Fola Wellness and Healing.
Wow.
Now a polyclinic.
Okay.
And we're gunning for an international status now. So, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Shucks, guys. That's like a good start to it. I'm so excited to be talking to you because every time you and I have conversations, I think they are great deep dives that I think a lot of people need to be exposed to. And before we get into it, we've got a tradition that you already know that we do on this podcast,
Like it. I'm ready.
which is a fire round of questions to just get to know. I mean, we got to know you, it was 10, 11 months ago.
Yes.
And now we just want to know what changed. You know, what's actually there. So I'm going to ask you two questions in the beginning to start with. And the first thing is the basic one, because I want to see if it's still the same.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing in the morning?
My wife.
Still the same.
It's my
Love it.
It's my wife.
Yeah?
I either hear, babe, and I like, I'll beam.
Yeah.
Right? Or I just wake up for prayer.
Yeah.
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 Or like, our baby needs changing.
Yeah.
Our diaper needs changing. But like, my wife is literally the highlight of my
Yeah.
morning. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Constant and consistent.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Recent book you read and why?
I'm currently reading The Baraka Effect
Okay. what is that?
by Muhammad Faris.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude for how far God has taken me.
Hmm.
Like, like I'm turning 42 this year.
Sure.
42 years of grace and mercy and kindness and blessings.
Yeah.
And I don't have anyone to give that to but to God. So like I want to find more ways of being grateful or showing gratitude or living
Yeah.
in gratitude.
Yeah.
And also because it's a vehicle for real wealth in
Yeah.
life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're able to do a lot more when you operate from gratitude. When you move with grace in the world, you're able to reach a lot more hearts. So, and you know what my prayer was?
Yeah.
One heart at a time. So if he gives me that, then I'll do my best to get it back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you do a lot of work globally around psychology with high-level entrepreneurs, pilots, etc. Just people in very high-profile portfolios. And it's a new year. It's 2025.
Yes, ma'am.
The mood boards are coming out. They're a new me, new year.
Yes.
Like there's phrases, there's words, there's
Yes.
launches, and there's everything else. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody very close to me. And one of the things we're talking about is like the fear of entering into newness and feeling like, shucks, last year I wrote all of these lists and I did say I'm going to do all of these things, but none of them happened, or some of them happened. But there is a level of dissatisfaction to what I wanted to happen this year.
Yeah.
And I just want to kickstart the conversation to say, or maybe to ask you this question: can we truly reinvent ourselves? And if yes, how do we do that in a sustainable and a progressive way that is not only kept by the hype of the new year and the hype of like, we've entered a new season?
Subtract the hype. Subtract yourself from the hype first and foremost. It's not a new season. You're evolving into who you want to be. I think choosing to be a perpetual learner will help you counter the dissatisfaction with how far you've grown. Will help you look at where you struggle the most. Will help you pour that energy into that. So don't go with you're not a reed in the wind. Trends are like the wind.
Yeah.
People get swayed by trends. We've seen like what happens. Whenever something happens on social media, we all hop on that, right?
Yeah.
Don't get swayed by the wind. Stick to the plan. Have a plan first and foremost. If you have a vision, give it a plan. Give that plan tasks. Break it down into doable things, into doable, systematically doable and achievable steps that you can take to build towards where you want to go. Because when you do that, if you fail at something, you're able to look at what did I lack, what did I not do right, how did I approach it, how did I was I efficient in the way that I approached it, was I on time, was I too early, was I late, you know what I mean, to do that thing. So it's one, separate yourself from the hype.
Yeah.
Stop being a reed in the wind. Define for yourself what you want to achieve and give it a plan. You have a vision. Every single person has a vision for themselves. They have a state in life that they want to attain. If you have that, break it down. And if you break it down, give it steps. Do the steps every single week. It's going to get boring. And please get to the boring stuff.
Yeah.
Get to the boring stuff. And there's a reason I'm saying that, and I'll open it up more as we go
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Get to the boring stuff. I like that. And what you're saying is also very affirming to something that I have personally started doing this year. So I'm very high on intensity. Like if you say, let's fast 21 days, it's like I will do these intense things, but then struggle with like consistently being intense.
Yeah.
And my thing for this year has just been to be gradual in everything that I do. So move away from intensity, but keep consistency. So keep it boring, basically.
Keep it boring.
Yes.
Moderation will get you everywhere. Moderation will get you everywhere you want to get to. If you go in with high energy, have you done high energy sustained from A to Z, from 1 to 10 before? If you don't have a reference point of doing that high intensity from A to Z, 1 to 10, don't do that to yourself. You're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. And we live in a culture of people that are burning out every single day because we went in with, 100% paraffin chutzpah.
Why do you think, or maybe if there are any psychological studies to why we struggle to do the boring stuff, besides the fact that they're boring?
Pop culture. We grew up in entertainment. We want to be excited to do things. We habitually chase things that are exciting. Habitually, but all habits are learned behavior.
Yeah.
Right? Pop culture teaches you to only accept things a certain way. Boring isn't one of the ways they teach you, but everything great in this world is boring. Starts off boring, continues boring, remains boring. Do the boring stuff. Do the hard, boring stuff first. You're gonna get far. I promise you. If you fall in love with the fact that life is always going to be difficult, and it gets worse.
There's a book, I think it's by Brian Tracy, called Eat the Frog. I think it's Brian Tracy, if I'm not mistaken.
It is Brian Tracy,
Yeah, Eat the Frog. And he talks about eating the biggest frog the earliest in the mornings, that you don't have to worry about or continuously be thinking about eating the frog, which means do the boring thing, do the hard thing.
Do the thing you don't like doing.
Yeah.
And if you just do that your whole entire life, the thing you don't like doing, fall in love with your responsibilities. I promise you're going to succeed. you're going to achieve a lot of things. If your marriage is difficult, but this is something that you want to be in and your partner wants to be in that thing as well, but it's like rudimentary and demanding. If responsibility isn't something that you like, fall in love with responsibility. Fall in love with it. Because then you start working on purpose, in purpose, and it's calculatable. You can calculate what the results are going to be if you just persist on something.
How do we awaken that, like, within us from a mental perspective? Because I think, like I was mentioning earlier, I can start by saying, like, I told you my 75 hard story.
Yeah.
Like, you kickstart, you're like, yeah, I can do hard things.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And maybe the pop culture has faded away, but you will come up with your own reasons
Yeah.
why it's valid to stop doing the hard things.
Yeah.
How do we then awaken that part of us that continuously remains consistent within doing the hard things?
Keep your eye on the prize. I think we lose sight of what we intended to do, or maybe the intention wasn't right in the first place.
Sure.
Right? So we are in a culture of doing the exciting stuff, the fun stuff, the hype stuff. So your intention is to be part of a community that, I did it too.
Yeah.
Also me, I achieved it. So validation, you were seeking validation. For that, you were seeking applause, you were seeking belonging, you were looking for a tribe, right? But if it's an external thing that you're looking for, validation is external, approval is external, belonging is external, then you need to kind of trace it back. What am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? And if I'm looking for all of these things externally, do I validate myself? Do I belong fully to myself? Am I happy within me? Am I not even happy, because happiness is such a fleeting thing? Am I fulfilled? Will this add to my fulfillment?
Yeah.
And if all the answers are no, then you need to set the right intentions for yourself. You need to really sit down with, what do I actually want? Now, I was saying to Steph that we don't set the intention. We don't set the right intentions for ourselves. We don't ask ourselves the right questions, and so we don't get the right answers. And whatever we do answer, it's always also me. But you go to bed alone. You wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
You have to grapple with your thoughts and the reality of the actions. The reality of the life you're producing by doing the things you're doing that are not bringing any fulfillment to you. Why are you doing the things that you're doing? What is it for? What does it feed? Right? I think you'll find you can sustain a hell of a lot of things if you have the intention structured right, if you have the vision. Yeah.
There's so many things that are coming to mind when I'm just listening to you speak. It's like I want to pick up on this and pick up on that and pick up on this. And you just reminded me of a documentary I watched. I think I watched it on Prime TV or app. I don't remember, but it's called Tyrants. And it's basically a study of like people like Hitler, just people who've just caused so much chaos within the world in different ways.
Yeah.
It could be heroic, just whatever. And one of the biggest thing that documentary shows and tells us is the fact that the biggest key element in tyrants is their ability to influence people. And this ability to influence people comes from the delusion. But their delusion is so consistent that initially you doubt them and you're like, oh, they're crazy and they're insane. But because they're so consistent within their delusion, like a year later, you're like, okay, maybe I am crazy because clearly, if they are so consistent with that idea, they know something that I don't.
Yeah.
And because they know something that I don't, maybe let me hear them out.
Yeah.
And then by virtue of that, you've opened yourself up to potentially believe in whatever they have to say.
Absolutely.
We see this in politics. We've seen this in recent American politics. And I share that to piggyback off the idea of consistency and being consistently, quote unquote, delusional in your ideas and the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
How do we develop that within ourselves? Because, and I use tyrant, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And these are like the world's interesting people.
Yeah.
And I use that word very loosely. But for an average or normal
Everyday person.
how do we develop that? Because I think it's such a crucial characteristic to building anything, to be a leader in your own life, to be a leader in an organization. How do you develop that delusion that is so consistent that initially they will doubt you, but eventually they start coming along?
Isn't that the story of everyone great, though?
Yeah.
Everyone great does that thing, right? Not fearing Honyatsiwa.
Yeah.
Not fearing the booze. Who's this? I don't know who said this. I think it was Tom Billieu. He said, booze don't block dunks. Right? You can be nyata today, but if you're consistent enough in the thing that you're doing, you're going to be celebrated. The very same people that were nyatsing you, also they have like 15 minutes on the speaker box. You know, they don't have like your whole attention every single time. If your attention isn't on personalizing failure,
Yeah.
if you fall in love with failing, knowing that failure is the richest data, the richest data resource you can have on how to improve your life, I think you're going to do fine. But you have to do one thing consistently every single day. Yeah. Every single day without fail. And you have to like capture what moments or gaps in the day you have the most peak energy for productivity to do that thing. So even if you're bored, if you're doing it in that window, in that time window where you're highly productive in the day, you can't even feel it because you go into a flow state of doing the boring thing. But the boring thing means something to you. It means something monumental to you that you can't borrow the excitement of it, or you can't borrow the end result of that vision to somebody else to see it before it becomes a physical reality manifest in the everyday. Every single year, because he was relentless at the fact that there's only one God who's worthy of worship. And he's the creator. And if you just submit, like Abram submitted, like Adam submitted, like Jesus submitted, if you just submit to his will, if you say, I know you gave me free will, but I'll submit to your free will, to your will. I'll submit to your will. And I'll understand what your needs and wants for me are. To this day, without fail, that message remains true. And because of that level of consistency and conviction, Dilulu.
Is the Solulu.
It's, I wouldn't say it's the Solulu. I would say because people don't sustain things, right? They don't sustain their delusions.
So you will eventually appear to be delusional if you don't sustain
in
it.
the beginnings, yes, in the beginning stages, and if you quit, if you stop, if you fall down and you stop, you will be proven to be delusional.
Yeah.
But delusions, if you actually look at them, are deep beliefs and convictions about a certain thing. Only you can see that. Only you can feel that.
Yeah.
Only you're waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, but you're acting on that delusion, and you're acting on it with good reason because the good reason is already embedded inside yourself. And I'll go back to the whole, do you belong to yourself? Do you believe in yourself? What are you doing this for? When you have something inside of you that is going to benefit the next person in the world, largely, and you're the only one who can see it, it is your mortal responsibility to ensure that the world enjoys it too. Don't be selfish. Be selfish, and because you failed, boo-hoo, you cry and you give up and you move on to the next thing. It won't be as exciting as this thing. Also, God has this thing where he, like, if he gives you a vision, it's going to haunt you forever if you quit on yourself. Like I said before, you're the one that has to live with the reality that you didn't see it through. And 3 months later, what happens, Michelle? Somebody's done it, but they didn't do it better than you could have.
Is there a correlation between our ability to be consistent and what we perceive to be our current reality?
Yeah. Yes, there is. In that the perception thing, I always ask, what's the root of your perception of your reality? Because if we, to uncover what the root of that is, then we'll see why you chase the things that you chase, or why you do the things you do the way you do them, why you're passionate about certain things, or why you quit on yourself, or why you like start things with high energy and then like, you burn out, you burn yourself out, right? It's like self-sabotage almost, if we think about it, really. I didn't really want to do this. I didn't really want to do this. I'm starting with high energy and then burn out. Yes. But like, we can't tell. But there is a correlation in that I always want people to ask the right questions. But you really have to be deeply interested in your mission in life and yourself. You have to be selfish enough to ask yourself the right questions. You have to kind of not want to be a people pleaser anymore. You have to be very tired of not letting yourself down or breaking your own promises to yourself or flip-flopping your decisions. You have to get to that point as a human being and say, "Kela pele."
And stop believing your own lies.
I'm tired. My mind is spicy. I know my mind is spicy. I know it's a lie. I know it's a lie. And I know there's something greater inside of me. You have to get to that. No one can bring you to that point, unfortunately. Therapy will not get you to that point. Okay? It's not a panado. You have to decide. You have to kind of see what changes you want, and then you call Hakeem. And then Fola will help you Fola.
So, so I get the whole idea, the whole concept around you being able to see yourself and all of that stuff. But I think you would know better that, or in my view at least, trauma has a way of blocking and creating a filter on a glass that makes people see things a different way.
Sure.
That makes people not even be able to see themselves. What are the signs to know that maybe you need to seek, let's say, a follow health, for instance, to be able to help you fully see yourself with transparency and clarity?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we all have like family members or people in our lives that are you just like, is this like, do you not see what we all see? But then until you really realize that there's a filter that they're looking through, whatever their own reality, that is completely different to how we see it. So how do we break or remove that filter so that there is a lot of clarity? Because I think that's when the mind begins to wrestle. Because you're just like, but I'm doing everything right. But everyone around you is like, yeah, but there's this thing that you're missing. But you don't see it. And even if they tell you, you don't see it.
No. That's the answer.
What's the answer?
That's the answer right there. Oh, you just touched on like session 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right there.
Yeah.
The effect you have on the people around you, on your environment. If you walk in the room and everyone is walking on eggshells, there's something wrong there, and you need to ask why. If you get upset and the whole room's mood changes, there's something wrong there, and you need to ask why. If the people in your life, all of them, almost all of them, not the ones you buy alcohol for,
Yes.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Not your ice boys.
Yes.
If the people around you are telling you the same thing about yourself and you're not listening, that's the first sign. That's the first thing you need to be looking at. Your environment is always going to tell you that something is off. Your internal environment is always going to tell you that something is off, or a lot of things are off.
Yeah.
Your unhappiness and dissatisfaction with yourself and your life. Let's not even go there. Your dissatisfaction with other people. Because, ideally, outside of your family, the people in your life are a choice. You chose them. And every single relationship is a mirror of what we feel about ourselves. There's a guest you had, and they said your pricing is a reflection of how you value yourself.
Yeah. It was Hetty.
Yeah. Shout out to Hetty.
Shout out to Hetty, the entrepreneur.
Yeah. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's exactly how you feel about yourself. So your relationships are going to reflect that. If your relationships are not benefiting your growth, are not propellants of actualizing or activating the things we just spoke about now, that's the first sign that you need help.
Oh my gosh. So have you watched like these reality shows or had a glimpse like Love is Blind, The Ultimatum? Have you seen how the general public always can tell what's going on? Just from like, we just meet the couples. Episode one, you're just like, here's the problem. She's a people pleaser. And it's like, and when you say that, I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Because everyone around you can ultimately see. And I think we spoke a lot about this during the previous episode we did last year around how aura and energy.
Energy doesn't lie.
Everything that you feel about yourself, people see it.
It's a mirror. And how merciful is God that He'll present people that will mirror exactly what you feel as a sign for you to, like this. Here's the thing you need to sort out. Here's a physical manifestation of the thing in this person, and it lives inside of you because you're the mirror of what this person is. Also, you're the only one that opens the door to these people to exist in your life. You decide on people. Outside of your family, you decide on people. You choose to be there. You choose to... No, let me give him a second chance. Let me give him a third chance. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. 1000%. I wouldn't suggest that benefit of the doubt.
Don't do that.
Don't suggest it. but your environment is always going to tell you. Your internal environment is going to tell you the
Yeah.
things you're unhappy with, frustrated with, angry with, stressed about. Always tell you that you need help. And I say you need help from people that do it better than you, not your friends.
That's true.
You can't go to a doctor and say, my pump broke. Come fix it. I'll pay you. Seek the right help. Seek the right help. Also, we're not asking for the right help
Yeah.
because reading
Yo.
we don't like spending money on ourselves. We'll spend everything. We'll spend money on everything that makes
Yeah.
us look good, but we don't invest in ourselves to be better.
And what I've learned is it's actually more expensive to not invest on yourself.
Trauma
Because the
is
damage
expensive.
is a
Trauma
lot.
is expensive. Black trauma is expensive.
Yeah.
Because there's a product attached. There's a product attached to every single emotion and symptom you have. You're gonna buy it. You're gonna drink it.
Yeah.
You're gonna dress in it. You're gonna flaunt it. You're gonna drive it. You're gonna live in it. Okay? You're gonna impress people. You're gonna perform success. You're not gonna sell products. You're going to doubt yourself. You're not gonna sell your services. You're going to doubt yourself. And you're gonna call yourself an empath.
Hey.
People pleaser.
You're fetching us. You know, what you're saying reminds me. I'm by default interested in a lot of American politics because my husband is like into
love your
it
husband.
very much. Oh, he's amazing.
love your
He
husband.
is like, love you, babes. He's amazing. So he's very interested, and by default, he'll watch it, and we all have to listen because we're in the house anyway. And I remember there was a first election that Donald Trump won. And there were a lot of media interviews and talks about, is Donald Trump going to win or not? And I think a lot of people thought he wasn't going to win, i.e. similar to what just recently happened. And I remember watching a Instagram live of Oprah Winfrey and Eckhart Tolle. And I think it was between them, somebody said that America is going to get the president that they want to their highest level of consciousness. So for instance, even if they want the other person, but if the people that they are says they want this one, that is the one they're going to get, not the one that they're saying they're going to get. And the elections proved that to the core. And I'm sharing that with you because I want us to break down the concept of what I want and what I'm saying I want versus what I eventually manifest in my life. And we see this in relationships. We see this in business. We see this in money. It's like, yeah, but this is what I want. Why am I not getting this? And every time I heard that,
You go back to that.
I go back to that
interview, yeah.
because it's like, of course, you attract what is happening within your mind and within your consciousness, not what you're speaking out all the time.
Yeah.
So these affirmations and all these things that we're going to do and all these things that we want, we're saying that we want, are we fully equipped mentally and psychologically to achieve those things? So just take us through that process. How do we align this and that and bring it together? It's loaded.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You're just echoing what I tell my clients.
Okay.
Do the discovery calls. They're going to help you. Like, even if you do the discovery calls, I think you're going to do well. You know, like, and just gaining clarity about what you need to do to improve your life.
Okay.
So I tell our prospective clients, your mind doesn't know don't. If you say, I don't want, your mind is going to filter out the don't.
It's like, don't look at the
Every time,
elephant.
I can't. You're right. But you can't do it, so you stop yourself from doing it. You're not going to do the thing that you say you can't do because you're convicted. I don't want, you're very certain about the thing you don't want. So certain that you haven't even entertained or given enough energy equal to the thing you say you don't want. You haven't given enough energy and time. You haven't entertained the kind of money you want to make enough. You entertained lacking it for a very long time. And Michelle, if you look at where we're raised, how we're raised, we come from lack. Manufactured, but we come from lack. So you were raised in a family that entertained lack in everyday conversations. Then you taste a little bit of money and you're like, yeah, I can do this actually. I'm confident in myself that I can do this. And you work hard. You work and you work and you work and you work and you work, but you work externally. You don't work internally to counter the years of the negative thinking or the negative supposition of yourself, right? So you suppose yourself incapable of getting things because of what you say. Everything you say is a prayer, man. Everything you announce comes from a belief. We said this last year. As within, so without.
Yeah.
As above, so below. If you announce it, you affirm it. If you do affirmations and you do the vision boards and mood boards and resolutions and all of that, do you every single day overwhelm the things you don't want with the things you do want? You don't. You're not active in that reality. So your energy field is only magnetizing the things you say you don't want. It's like your girlfriends who say, I'll never date a man like this again. I don't want a man who does. 3 months later, very same man is in the picture. Very same man is in the picture. Because your mind doesn't know how to filter don't. So how do we turn it around? You have to have a deep belief in the fact that you're worthy and you're valuable and you're valued enough by the only one who can value you enough. You need to stop looking at yourself the way the world looks at you. Even the world in the family you come from. Even the world in the lover you've been with in a while. What's God's intent for you? What's his mission for you? What's his plan for you? And if he creates such a magnificent thing as an eyeball, if you just take a microscope and look at the eyeball, it's just the intricacy in there. It looks like the nebulas in the sky. If you can create similar magnificence just in your eyeball alone, what else is magnificent inside of you? How much more magic are you written in? But we don't entertain these things because we nyata ourselves. If you ever wondered why your partner nyatas you or doubts you, it lives in your actions about yourself. It lives in the many promises you break. It lives in your inconsistency. It lives in your procrastination. It lives in your self-doubt. It lives in how you will say, I want a certain thing, but all your actions will be negative. How you quit on yourself easily. The reason why people don't respect your boundaries is because you don't respect your boundaries. Right? So you have to see, where am I pouring most of my energy every single day? Because your mind isn't the only weapon you can wield. Your actions, everything lives in your actions. So look at your actions. Is my output? Oh, here's a bigger one. If my desire, if the level of my desire is bigger than the level of my activity, I'll never get the things that I want. So I have to overwhelm my desire. I have to overwhelm it with output. Either equal to the level of my desire or over the level of my desire. I have to overwhelm it. I have to do that. There's nobody else that's going to do that. So it means I have to shut everything out of my reasoning. I have to be delusional. I have to have a deep conviction over the fact that this is mine and I'm worthy of it and I'm capable of it and I have capacity for it. If I don't feel like doing something, feelings aren't facts. They're fleeting. Valid if you listen to them, but they're fleeting. Are the feelings I'm feeling currently going to get me the thing that I want? 99.9999% of the time is no. Because if I listen to how I feel, I'm going to go back to bed. So, level of desire, activity, output. That's how you counter it. That's how you will rewire your mind purely based on the output. So we work and we work and we work and we work and we make a little bit of scratch, make a little bit of money, believe in ourselves a little bit, and then we slack. And soft life. Let me go to a vineyard. let me wear white.
Okay, Hakeem.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You see these things and you see the performance of it and you're like, okay, but that's where we are. Your mind doesn't know don't. It only hears positivity. You affirm every single day, every single moment. Affirm better. Overwhelm your desire. Overwhelm the conditioning you come from with activity.
That is so powerful. And just even as you're saying it, I'm just remembering like a lot of things. So I have a toddler, right? She's like 2.5. And she's like now speaks and we're engaging with her. And you know, they call them the terrible twos, where they're testing your boundaries and all of that other stuff. And I've been following a couple of like child therapists and people that help with resources to be able to connect with a child. And one of the things I learned is that when you say to a toddler, don't do this, they don't get the don't part. They get this. So it's what you've ended the sentence with. So if you say don't throw it, what they heard is throw it.
That's just so my 2-year-old right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they heard throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they do it. If you say don't cry, what they're going to do is they're going to cry. And to your point, it's because the brain does not understand.
Especially with them. It doesn't, it's not that it doesn't understand it. It understands it. It just doesn't care for it. It filters it out.
Sure.
Yeah. It filters it out. Right? Another way you can counter that is hypnotherapy. I'm sorry, but because there's no pill that can do it. There's
Hocus pocus.
no hocus pocus magic wand thing that you can twirl. Hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
you know, get help from the right people. You know what I mean? The mind is a precarious thing. It's a precarious thing.
Yeah.
Belief, however, the heart field.
Yeah.
So the last year we've been diving deeper into the heart field. Jeez. Desire, want, need, yearning, gut, intuition. These are bigger fields than your mind. Your mind is like the door, right? It's like, I don't know if you know Narnia, what of Narnia?
Chronicles of Narnia.
Chronicles of Narnia. It's like the wardrobe.
Yeah.
It's like the wardrobe door. It's like outside, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I put my clothes.
Yeah.
You know? So I put my clothes. But it's like the heart field is this other world, right? And magnetizing, when we magnetize people into our lives with things of wealth or money or like abundance and like, or God awareness, when we, like, you do that with the heart because the heart wants what the heart wants. Like what the heart wants, the mind can't trump what the heart wants. The mind is always going to sit to the side and the heart is going to get what it wants.
Yeah.
Even the things you don't want, even the things you say you don't want.
Yeah.
The heart is going to magnetize itself to that. And it's interesting. It's very, very, very educational and scary as well. I've petrified myself like, whoa. Wait a minute. And like when you look back at your life and the things you've gotten yourself involved in, the people you've invited in, the things you've allowed in your life, and you're like, sheesh, man, I need to care for me a bit more. You know, I need to care for myself a bit more.
You know, you're building this puzzle that I want you to put together for me.
Yeah.
Right? So we spoke about the consciousness versus the actions. And then we went into desire versus output, right? And I want to bring it close to home to like a lot of our listeners and viewers. It's like they would be, and this is like the simplest form to kind of bring this point home. There'd be this saying that like if he wanted to, he will, right? Because there is the misconception that desire will always be equal to output. That if you want it, of course you're going to do it.
Are you the right one to do it for, though?
That's a good question.
Yeah. If you wanted, every man, every woman has the capacity to be exactly what the opposite person wants them to do or to be. But are you the right partner for them to do that? Are you bringing that out of this? Have they qualified you as a person worthy enough of that energy from them?
That's a lot.
You want success, no? Have you qualified yourself enough, worthy, deserving, capable, capacitated? Are you learning what you need to learn? Are you upgrading your skill sets enough for you to get the thing you say you want? Have you chosen yourself to be the one worthy of doing that, to be in that leadership position, the founder position, the practitioner position, the service provider position, you know? Have you chosen yourself? Have they chosen you? People can be with you, but refuse to choose you. Because there's something about you or something about them that is just not pushing them or urging them to make that decision. Have they qualified you? Right? For them, are you worthy? You might be worthy of the thing you say you want. You might be worthy of the success, but if you're not going to act on it, acting on it is approving yourself of it. Nothing else. What did I say last year? Like, I kept drilling it. Act, 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 act.
Take the
Move on it.
action.
Take the action. If you don't take the action, you're going to prove all your excuses, all your fears, all your self-doubt right. But you're the only one that has to live with that.
Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Are you ever truly healed?
Yeah. Yeah. And anyone who says, no, you're not fully healed, are people that aren't fully healed. Or people that don't do therapy. Or people that listen to someone who tried therapy and then they quit. Or they didn't gel with the therapist, or they just didn't take. It just didn't take. But yes, you get to a certain level where you're no longer dealing with trauma. You're no longer entertaining it. You're no longer revolving around it, making decisions based on it. You're no longer referencing the past as an influence on your decisions. You do get to that point. Will life stop being life? No. Will you stop evolving? No, you won't. You're going to hit more brick walls. There's things that are going to happen that you might not know how to respond to, you know? And that's what we get at clients there. Go live your life, man. It's a tamaya. Don't come back here unless you have bigger problems than what you've dealt with before.
Yeah.
You know? Go, like, we don't want your money. Go.
Yeah.
We'll take the money, but we don't want your money. You know what I mean? But that's what we strive to get our clients to actually interact with the world in their greatness.
Yeah.
Not with their trauma. You know? Not with the trauma they come with or they inherited or the habits that develop from there. You know? But you do get to a point where you're like, it's not worth it too. It's a waste of my time. I don't really care for it. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with myself. I've fully accepted myself. I've accepted what has happened. You do get there. And that's what we get our clients to. You know, that's why we're always chosen.
Do you think that it's normal to not strive for more? I was having a conversation with somebody very close to me talking about how so they were sending these funny memes to me and videos on like, that one friend. I think there's a video circulating about like that one friend who always wants to start a business. So when they're at a restaurant, they're like, yo, we could start a water company and you know. And I expanded the conversation with them, and they were basically just saying to me like, sometimes that everybody wants more. Like sometimes people are just okay with earning average, having the house, having the car, having the family, and living happily ever after. And I'm quite curious, and I think because my make is also very different to what I would imagine would be that average person. Is that normal to want more? And can everyone be an entrepreneur?
No, absolutely not.
No to which one?
No to the second question.
Okay.
Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Like, you've gotten products and services from people and you're like, you shouldn't be in this business.
Yeah.
You should not be in this business. Choose another thing.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. You know, go to school.
Yeah.
Go to school. Learn something. No to the second question. Is it normal to want more for yourself? Or to be okay?
Not want more,
to not want, it's fine. It's fine. You've qualified yourself to be the person who doesn't want more, to be content with what you have, you've reached a certain place in your life where pursuing more is just not fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do we want more? You know, what is it that we want to achieve? We're not the same. We're not the same person. So it's okay. It's fine. And I think we should allow people, you know, we should allow ourselves to experience people with what they're comfortable with being.
That's good.
We should be okay with how people are and not want to encourage them to be more because we see more out of them. You know, time is gonna do what time does. Life is gonna do what life does. You know, or maybe, just maybe, and I'm just throwing it out there for everyone. Just giving it to you. Maybe, just maybe, you need to blast out of that circle of people. Go achieve the things you need to achieve. Do what you need to do. Attain what you need to attain. And set a roadmap of how it gets done. Maybe. Then we'll stop comparing ourselves to other people or comparing other people to ourselves. Maybe you need to be the trailblazer. Or maybe you need to give people the room to trailblaze. You know? Either or. Maybe, just maybe. Use that. You'll be happier. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last question I want to ask you is about regression therapy.
Yes.
So maybe just for the purpose of everybody that's listening and that's watching, what is regression therapy? And I mean, I've personally seen how it can help somebody, especially like a high level person,
Yeah.
kind of get out of their head from their traumas and everything else to be fully effective. And I'm curious to know from you, I mean, this is such a very silly question, but are there ways and tips we can regress? We can perform some level of regression therapy within ourselves on a daily basis.
That's what we teach our clients. That's what we teach our clients. You don't do regression every day. What are you doing in the past? What are you doing in the past every day? Is there a resource of excellence that you're tapping into from the past? Age regression therapy is a journey in the review of your past experiences to resolve, heal, overcome, unburden, close chapters that are no longer serving you, open chapters that will serve you greatly in life, and personally optimize. Right? That's what we use age regression for. Right? This life regression, we don't touch that because weird things happen there. We're not going to go into that. If you want to know about life regression, then go look at what other people do. But age regression therapy is particular for us at Fallout. We use it to help our clients explore certain experiences in their past and release themselves from certain experiences or certain identities that have been created based on those experiences. Because a lot of what happens to us becomes our blocks, becomes the things that hamper us from excelling in life, or living a great life, or living a beautiful life and a bountiful one as well. From exercising the excellence God has placed in us to impact the world powerfully and beautifully, or just to live an excellent life, be a great spouse, be a great lover, be great in bed, or be like just sleep better, so you review what has happened and you set it right within yourself by accepting and releasing. And then we obviously do like other immersion therapy. We do progression therapy with like CEOs. Like if we put you on a fast track as a CEO, we'll do regression, we'll do immersion, and we'll do progression as well. It's like excellence on excellence on excellence, right?
That sounds like a lot.
Is it really? It's. I guess I'm sitting on like the therapist side, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
It is when you haven't done that deep work, that deep dive, or you haven't really explored yourself in that way.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should fall in love with themselves enough to not be afraid to handle that stuff or release themselves from that stuff. Because it's, honestly speaking, it's releasing yourself from those experiences, because it is a prison.
Yeah.
The mind will keep you hostage in a certain place until you resolve. But you have to be brave.
I know I said my last question, but
Let's
this
go.
is like my last one, right? I know you are of the Islamic faith.
Yeah.
And I am what I would call like there's a term for it. I'm a Christian, but like what do they call it? There's like a term, charismatic
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on ayahuasca.
Your mind can give you the same experience as a drug can. Any drug. Natural or pharmaceutical. Your mind can give you any experience, feeling, and effects that a drug can.
So you mean that you can get the same results without having to undergo ayahuasca? That is
Also, you're
interesting.
externalizing things that are internal. You have to, if you're doing ayahuasca, you're basically taking something external, putting it in your body to go into your body. Just use your mind. Just use your mind to go there. You want to not feel afraid when you're doing it. And you want support of the tribe. You want the experience of saying, I took ayahuasca and it did this and this and this for me. You can do the same thing with regression or hypnotherapy.
I like that.
You can do the same thing.
That's very good, yeah.
You can do the same thing, right? So you were asking about is regression therapy is regression therapy something that a person can do on their day to day? Is there a way that a person can optimize their lives?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100,000%. The getting help is getting help from someone who can guide you into doing that healthily in a holistic way, in a way that's not gonna, the mind is tricky. The mind is like, ish man. The mind is tricky. You can get stuck in some places.
Yeah.
you can get stuck. You can really like open a can of worms in there that like you can get stuck in. And unless you have someone holding your hand or someone to call up or someone to like reference, like seek help,
Yeah.
please. Like your mind is precious. It's like the number one tool for excellence or like high life detriments. People get sick because you stress a lot,
Yeah.
or you like overthink, or you like, you know what I mean, or you're anxious, or you like you're depressed. Depression comes from thoughts. Anxiety comes from thoughts, right? So, yeah.
Okay. In closing,
In closing,
I sound like a pastor. Just like
in
as
closing,
I
and my
I
last
conclude.
statement
Yeah.
in
As
closing,
I
and I
conclude,
wanna say,
just before I wrap up, I'm about to close.
I come from the church, so
That's currently me.
that's my
That's,
grandfather speaking.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's currently me at the moment.
5 hours later.
Yeah, it's like you've been closing for an hour.
I just
sir.
want to go home, man.
I need you to wrap it up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, we love pastors.
We love them. We
Very,
love
very
them.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in closing, what are the three? Maybe please give us 3 ways or 3 tools to be our highest productive version of ourselves in this new year to make sure we achieve everything that we are called to the highest level of our consciousness.
Love what you do. Choose what you love doing. Choose what you love doing. You might not like doing it, but choose what you love doing. When you do it, I mean, okay, that sounds, I'm on this side. I always need to remind myself that you're on this side, so you can choose what you love doing. Choose to do what's necessary to get done, to get you to a certain place where you can choose to do what you love. Right? Whether that thing is difficult, whether it's hard, whether it's challenging, whether it's hurdlesome. If it's going to get you where you want to go to and it's healthy, you're not hurting anyone, you're not ruining anyone's life, choose that thing and do it religiously. Do it like you were thrust into the ocean and you need to breathe and you need to swim to shore. You can see the shore because you have a vision for yourself. You know where you want to go. Choose the difficult thing as well. Do the difficult thing. Swim. Even if it feels like you're going to drown, swim. Keep swimming until you get there. Then when you get there, get shelter. Find shelter. Build yourself a house, right? Choose the thing you want to do when you get there. But you have to get there, right? Do what's necessary for you to get there. That's number 1. Number 2, people are married to what they know. Choose a better circle of people around you. People that have succeeded in more things than you've succeeded in your life. Things that you want to achieve, things that you want to accomplish. Get a mentor, get a therapist, get a guide, get a coach. But choose better people around you. 5 people that impact the way you think, the way you feel, the way you do what you do at the highest level. Choose them. And I say this, and I want to say this to everyone. Be unafraid. Be unafraid. You know what successful people have taught me? Is that when you're the least successful in that grouping and they want you to succeed, you've chosen the right people.
Nice.
You're going to succeed because you remind them of where they used to be. You might have a little bit more energy, a little bit more charisma, a little bit more drive, a lot more ideas. But because they've made it, you remind them of where they've been. They're going to help you succeed. They're going to give you the right resources, the right channels, the right type of... Sometimes they're going to give you a lot to do, but the lot that they give you that you have to do is going to polish you in terms of how you apply yourself for the successful life you want to live. Because a lot of us become successful, but we don't have the right tools to multiply what we've built, what we've attained. We don't have the right tools to keep what we've gotten. We don't have the right tools to be excellent in serving the place where we wanted to go to. Mentorship, guidance, coaching, a therapist, people who serve as like the board of directors in your life, or council of guidance, council of advisors. Choose better people around you. And I'm not saying leave the people you know behind. I'm saying choose better people around you. Be the trailblazer in your circle, your current circle. Be the trailblazer there. think differently, do differently. Right? That's number 2. Number 3, pray. Pray. Pray, 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 pray. Accustom your tongue. Leather your tongue with God's name, sir. God's names. And seek help from him. Like, pray, dude. Pray. You have a creator. You might be a creator, but you have a creator. You might want to be a person in the lead, or you might be a person in the lead, but you have no guidance. If you have no authority over you, we're going to work. We're going to leave this world the way we found it, dude. We're going to leave this money behind. We're going to but what are you planting in what kind of relationship do you have with your creator?
Yeah.
Because yes, you're going to find the mentors. Yes, you're going to choose the difficult thing. But there's no better hand to give you what you want than the hand that can give you what you want. There's no better giver than the God you come from and that you will return to. Pray. Like, man, I don't care how difficult it is right now. I don't care how easy it is right now. I don't care how cumbersome it might feel right now. Give it to who it belongs to and put him in charge. And ask him to capacitate you, Ask him to capacitate you and take the capacity and go give it to somebody else. Capacitate them. Create a deficit. Because whatever he gives and you give it to somebody else who needs it more, you give it to somebody else who can use it better than you, you created a void. And he's not a God of voids. He's a God who fills, right? So capacitate yourself. You know what I mean? Capacitate yourself by putting in place the power that needs to be in that place. Not man, not boss, not manager, not even parent, right? Serve God with excellence. Everything that you're going to do from that point is going to be done with excellence because you've given it to the power that it deserves to anyway. And if you give him glory and you're grateful, promise you you're going to win. I promise you you're going to win. And you don't quit on yourself. Go fail. Like, just go out there and fail. Go out there and fail. Go hear the boos. Go get nyatzad. Go get told you'll never get anywhere. Exposure therapy is the best therapy. Go, just go and do. Just go and do. Be, act on the mission. Fulfill it. Go bump your head. Get mental block, emotional block. Come to me. I don't block you to go bump your head again. All right? And Fala's here for you.
Hakeem Anderson, everybody, thank you so much for coming again to the Resonate podcast. You are somebody we really learn a lot from. I think you have a lot of principles and a lot of tools to share.
Yeah.
That we're
I have
so
a lot.
grateful
I got a
have.
challenge for you this year.
Yeah? Oh, gosh.
I got a challenge for you this year.
What
Michelle.
is it?
Don't cut this out. I know you.
Team.
Don't cut this out.
What challenge do you have for
Fourth
me?
wall.
What team do you have? What challenge do you have for me?
I have a challenge for you. We're going to put together an event with 50 or 100 entrepreneurs, and we're going to unlock them. Okay? Downstairs. We're going to unlock them. And we're going to put them on a regimen of excellence. And only the ones who are excellent, who achieve excellence by the end of the year, are going to come to the dinner we're going to host for them. So it's 2 events that we're going to do. Fala is going to resonate highly in your life.
I'm looking at Stephanie because we are literally about to release tickets for an event.
I'm going to do another one.
This year.
I'm going to do another one. The optimizer, the Fala optimizer, where you resonate highly.
I like that so much. Okay, because
You can
of
see
time,
I've been thinking about it.
you have been planning. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have to talk about this. I think this is going to be such an interesting one. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Anytime.
This is really amazing. It's always so good to have you here. Resonate community, thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're listening or watching from. This has been such an honor and really just a great conversation to unlock your mind to making sure that this year you rock it and this year you get it done. I think gone are the days where we're just talking about doing things, but this year we're really taking action and more than anything, doing the hard things. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys on our next podcast episode. Have a lovely one. Goodbye.